अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today would be our last class on sequence bound modification. From next week, paper 3 will start and Vijay ji will take over. But if you have any doubts, we can take extra classes every Monday. That will be an additional class if the need be. Otherwise, I will complete the topics today itself. So today we will discuss 3 things. Majorly 2 and one more 3. I've given you the references of page number. We begin with question number 3. Rather, we would read also the question number 2, and then we move on to 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the first part. Then 11 and 12. Then 11 and 12 would be the second part, and the last 2 pages, I think, of this textbook. That will be the third part. Okay. So quickly we would go through this. We'll skip the question number 2, but we will start from question number 3. So there is an inbuilt system in each and every soul by which the process of the transformation of modification keeps on happening. Okay, 1 minute. I'll get my earphone. Just a minute. I'll take my hands free and then. I am in Kolkata now.
Are you there for a shibir or something?
No, my sister's place. We have been to Sikharji for last 1 month, and now 31st we will be reaching Mumbai. 31st evening we will be reaching Mumbai. So today I'm in Kolkata. So
right.
Okay, so so there is an inbuilt system in every soul, and every soul has infinite qualities or infinite attributes or infinite powers. All three means the same. Attributes and quality and power are all synonymous words, but in Hindi we call it as Shakti. Okay, Shakti, Gun, Dharm, ये सब एकार्थवाची शब्द ही है. So question number 3, what are those infinite powers which bring about all these events? What these events? That in every substance, under every substance, there are infinite attributes, and each attributes manifest every moment. So there are infinite modifications happening every moment. Okay. Now that sum total of all that modification is also one modification. Okay. So infinite attributes manifesting every moment and put all together is one manifestation that we call the manifestation of the substance. Okay. So anything happening in this substance is just because of its inherent power. inherent attributes, inherent qualities. Okay. So which are these 6 qualities which helps in the sequence bound modification of a substance? So there are infinite qualities, infinite cannot be explained, but still Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev in Samaisar's Parisist at the end of Samaisar has given name of 47 such powers. Okay. And among those 47 powers, these 6 are included, which is responsible for the sequence bound modification. Okay. How these 6 powers helps us, that we will see. So what are those infinite powers being about all these events? All these events means all these modification. Each modification is evolved every moment and the previous modification gets dissolved. Okay. So this evolution and dissolution keeps on happening and the substance remains constant. Utpad Vyay Dhrav. So Utpad Vyay happens in the modification and substance remains as a dhruv. Now, before we move on to the definition of each attributes, what they do, just one quick question. What we are, whether we are substance or we are modification.
Substance.
Substance, good. So in every substance, okay, the modification keeps on changing. And the change of modification is also happening in a sequenced manner. Okay. So how does this happen? So there are 6 powers responsible for this transformation of modification every moment. Now, what are these? So what are those infinite powers? So can infinite powers be counted? No, infinite cannot be counted. Okay. Please let us know something. Answer. So these are the 6 powers or Shakti. Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Bhav Abhav Shakti, Abhav Bhav Shakti, Bhav Bhav Shakti, Abhav Abhav Shakti. Okay. So Bhav is manifestation and Abhav Shakti is absence of that manifestation. Okay. So Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, then Bhav Abhav put together, then Abhav first word and Bhav second word. That also put together is another power. And then Bhav Bhav, same word repeating again and again. And Abhav Abhav. So these are the 6 powers which are responsible for the chronological development of sequence bound modification. Okay. So what is the function of each of these powers? So in the next question, 2 of them are given. And then in the next question, 6th question, the other 4 powers are given. Okay. To begin with, the 2 powers function. So before that, we read the question. What is the contribution of these powers in the origination and destruction of modification? Okay. What these 6 powers do? Okay. So answer, each substance has a power. Has a power means has a quality, has an attribute by which it exists. Bhav is existence and abhav is its absence. Okay. So each substance has a power by which it exists. So each substance exists because of that power. Okay. With its present modification. So that substance is existing and its present modification is also existing. That is to say, it has its own definite state of being. So every substance manifests into modification in its own definite state of being. Okay. So one after the other, the modification keeps on happening. And that is happening because of Bhav Shakti. Okay. So Bhav Shakti's function is that uh, the substance exists with its present modification. Okay. That is because of Bhav Shakti. Okay. It has its own definite state of being. Now the next one, Abhav Shakti. Each substance has such a power also by which no other state except the present modification operates. Okay. This further boosts the principle of sequence bound modification because there is an inbuilt power in every substance, and due to that, each substance has such a power also by which no other state except the present modification operates. Operates means here evolves. Okay. So the modifications also evolve in a sequenced manner, and it also dissolves in a sequence manner. All these modifications are momentary, one moment only. Okay. So the one moment is evolved, the next moment the previous one gets dissolved, and the new one gets evolved. Okay. So this evolution and dissolution keeps on happening on a constant basis, continuous basis, and that is how the substance manifests. Okay. So substance has two parts. One is the dhruv part, the stagnant part, the unchangeable part, and the other part is the changeable part. So the modification is the changeable part and the substance is the unchangeable part. And we are all substance. So what we do, we just observe what is happening in the modification. As we switch on the TV, you connect to a serial or a channel or a sports, and what you do? You keep on watching. Whether you can do anything there in the match that is happening over there? No, you cannot do anything. You have to just see. Same thing in the serial also. Can you make the character happen according to your will? No. It's already shooting is done and it is just being displayed on your screen. Okay. So you remain an observer. Similarly, we are also an observer. We are the substance, we are the observer, and there is an evolution and extinction of modification happening every moment. What has to come, it will reflect in our knowledge screen, then the next moment it will get dissolved, another modification will evolve, then it will get dissolved, and this will go on continuously. And we are just an observer, seer, knower. As you observe the TV and the scenes keeps on changing, okay? Similarly, here the modification keeps on changing. And that change is also sequence bound. It follows a sequence particular pattern. You cannot alter anything. So by default, you are an observer. And if you try to do any changes also, it is also not possible. So when it is not possible, then why don't you remain an observer? And that you are. So if you consider yourself to be an observer and not a doer, you have manifested right faith. Okay. What is right faith? You believe yourself as you are. So we are observer and you believe yourself to be an observer. That is the right faith. Okay. So these two powers, Bhav Shakti and Abhav Shakti, we have seen their function. Now other four are coming up. Each substance has every moment a definite modification and not any other on account of the above two powers. Okay. Each substance has every moment a definite modification. That also leads us to believe the principle of sequence bound modification. There is an inbuilt power in each and every soul which states that every substance has every moment a definite modification and it cannot be replaced by any other modification. Okay. that means the modification will appear on the screen in a particular sequence, and you have in your power nothing to change. You don't have any power to change those modifications. So what you can do? You can just be an observer. Okay. So here, supposing you are now attending the class, but the kids are doing some mischief things. What you can do? You are an observer. Okay. So every moment you are an observer. Even when you scold your children, you are still an observer. Because scolding is not the function of the pure soul. It is because of the rise of karma. Okay. There is a rise of krodh karma, charitra monia, krodh karma, and because of which you manifest anger here. Okay. So that is a function of the karma, not of the pure soul. Pure soul by nature is only a knower and seer. Okay. It is not a doer. And because of ignorance, because of delusion, we become doer of these modifications. And that is why we are wandering in this universe. So the moment you realize yourself that you are just an observer and modification will keep on changing on its own in a particular sequence, and that sequence cannot be changed, that modification cannot be changed, then what you can do? So be an observer. That's all. That is what we are all. Okay. So it is so simple. We make it complicated because of delusion. We become doer. I can do this. I can change this. I can do this, that. Lots of past impressions are haunting our mind, propelling us to be a doer. But in actual, we are not a doer. We are only an observer. So it is better you accept what you are. And if you accept what you are, then you are a right believer. That is Samyak Darshan. Okay. You are not a doer and you believe yourself a doer. That is Mithya Darshan. And you are an observer and you believe yourself to be an observer. That is Samyak Darshan. So simple. Now we will see the another 4 functions of the power. Now the question you can see, question number 6. Who fetches the modification at the fixed time and who removes it? That means who is evolving the new modification every moment and who is removing the old one every moment. After one samay, smallest indivisible part of time, also called as moment, after one moment, okay? That is the first question. The second question, who is the controller for the modification appearing in its own time and disappearing after one samay? Who is the controller? That is the second question. The third question, if the modification does not appear in its time unit, who will bring it? And if it does not disappear after that time unit, who will remove it? Again, third question, very interesting question. Fourth one, in that case, either the substance will be bereft of modification or there will be 2 modification in one and the same time unit. Answer is very simple. You have not to worry about it. You know, the physical machines that we use in our day-to-day life, like laptop, mobile, geyser, then oven, induction, whatever electronic devices we use, that can sometimes may not work. There might be some mistakes, there might be some default, some faults in it, or it operates up to a certain time limit only. Then you have to replace it. But here the soul is always operating in such a manner. Evolution and extinction happening every moment automatically. Nobody is doing anything in it. It is all self-made process. Okay. So now we will see the answer. You have not to worry about it. It would never happen. For every substance has such a power, as would eliminate the present modification in the next time unit. Okay. So the question was that who fetches the modification at the fixed time and who removes it? That was the first. Who is the controller for the modification appearing in its own time and disappearing after one samay? So here it states that there is a power in the soul which would eliminate the present modification in the next time unit. Okay. That power is called Bhav, Abhav, Shakti. Bhav, which was there already which already existed. The next moment it becomes Abhav. It is absent the next moment. It is dissolved. Okay. Evolution and extinction. So evolution is Bhav and extinction is Abhav. Okay. That is the first of the four. The second one, there is still another power by virtue of which the modification of the next time unit will, as a rule, assume shape. Okay. So the new modification will assume shape. It will appear on your knowledge screen, and the old modification at the same time will disappear from the screen. This is an ongoing process from time immortal. There is never a rest for a moment, and there is no way that this modification can stop. It will only stop when you leave this body. Okay. So until and up to time which you are in this body, this modification will keep on happening. And even if you leave this body, the modification still continues to evolve every moment. So if you take birth in another body, but the evolution and extinction process will go on. And that will go on when you reach Siddhalaya also. When you become liberated, then also this evolution and extinction keeps on happening. That is the true nature of the soul, inherent nature of the soul. Okay. Now the fifth one. There is a power in the substance by which a substance containing eternal power of having a modification will positively have that modification in its own time unit. Okay. So there is another power in the substance by which a substance containing eternal power of having a modification will positively have that modifications, that particular modification. You cannot change that sequence. Okay. Have that modification in its own time unit. That power is called Bhav, Bhav, Shakti. Likewise, there is another Shakti called Abhav, Abhav, Shakti. So there is a spelling mistake in the previous paragraph, last word. It is written as Abhav, Abhav, Shakti. So you just correct it. It will be Abhav dash Bhav Shakti. You have to remove A from here and put A before V. Okay. Darshit ji, just take the screen slightly below that particular word. Previous paragraph.
Previous.
No, not this one. Previous paragraph. Yeah. Yes, this one. This is written above, above. Okay. So there is a spelling mistake here. Above, A is missing. A, B, H, A, V. So that A you put in, and then you have to put in bhav. So A will be cancelled. Okay. So cancel A, it will be abhav bhav shakti. So जिसका अभाव था वो नेक्स्ट मोमेंट में आ गया तो उसका भाव हो गया. Previous moment the modification was absent and now the new modification has assumed shape. So it is abhav bhav shakti. Now the fifth one, bhav bhav shakti, that we already explained. There is a power in the substance by which a substance containing eternal power of having a modification will positively have that modification in its own time unit. That power is called Bhav, Bhav Shakti. Likewise, there is also such a power in the substance by which a substance not containing eternal power of having a modification will never have that modification. So, there is not a scope for anything to happen out of sequence. Everything is happening on sequence. Okay. So these are the 6 powers which are present in every soul, and every soul manifest modification, new modification every moment. Okay. New modification every moment, new modification every moment on a continuous basis, because it has got these 6 powers. And as you have seen, these 6 powers which are responsible for the internal functioning of the soul. Okay. This manifestation of these powers, that is the function. So this part is over. If you have any questions on this, most welcome. Otherwise, I will move to question number 11, page number 98. I have shared you in Hindi also last week, these 6 powers, Shik Shaktiya. Okay. So you can refer that also. You will understand nicely. But the conclusion is that each and every soul has these infinite powers. And because of this infinite power, the soul is continuously manifesting. Okay. Evolution and extinction is also a nature of the soul. Okay. From the modification point of view, there is evolution and extinction. And from the substance point of view, it is dhruv, unchangeable, unshakable. Okay. So all this constitutes a complete substance. The substance, the attributes, and the modification, all these 3 combined is a complete substance. And out of these 3, what you are the substance. And the modification keeps on changing on its own. And we are just like a king. As a king is an observer, his employees and mantris and all do the work of the kingdom. Similarly, we are also a king. Okay. And all these modifications happen on its own, and we are an observer. Whether we believe ourselves to be an observer or whether we don't believe, we are always an observer. The soul is always an observer. Whether he was in hell or heaven or subhuman or human, whatever state of existence he assumes, he is always an observer. And you believe yourself to be that. And that is the right belief. Okay. So now question number 11, page number 98. When prosperity and adversity. Prosperity is happiness. Adversity is sorrow or misery. Okay. When prosperity and adversity, life and death, all are definite, all are fixed. Okay. Happen in their own time units. Okay. Whether it is happiness or it is sorrow, whether it is life or death, all are definite. There is a fixed time of their manifesting on the screen, on the knowledge screen, and that sequence cannot be changed. Now, you can either become a doer and experience anxiety, or you remain an observer and experience eternal bliss. The choice is yours. If you become a doer, you will suffer. And if you remain an observer, you will enjoy. Okay. So when prosperity and adversity, life and death, all are definite, happen in their own time units, then the question of premature death does not arise. Okay. The last verse of the 2nd chapter of Tattva Sutra contains specific reference to untimely death. Okay. So the question is that if someone of age, say 30, 35 dies, expires, right? So what we say? Untimely death. Now the question is according to sequence bound modification principle, it is an untimely death or a timely death? Answer.
Timely death.
Why?
Because it was his time had come. That's all it was his time. Whatever he does, he has to live only till that. His death was written at that age. Nothing beyond.
So even if a 20-year-old boy dies in accident, yes, so people may say that untimely death, but actually it is a timely death. His age was 20 years only. He has 20 years to live in this human life. So that the moment it is over, nobody can extend it. Even Tirthankar cannot extend it. Okay. So that will be over and you will leave this body. Okay. So then the question of premature untimely death does not arise. Okay. Now what is the answer you see? Death with poisoning, etc. Okay. Poisoning, etc. Poisoning, accident, whatever you can consider as any unforeseen event. Okay. Now accident is an unforeseen event. Poisoning again is an unforeseen events. Okay. All these are not regular kind of events. It happens with somebody on some time. Okay. So death with poisoning, etc. is called untimely death. We call it as untimely death. If a young people die, we call it untimely death because when you grow old and die, it is very normal. Everyone will die one day. Everyone has come with a specific age to live here. Everyone has a house fixed where he would be residing. Okay. So all these happens accordingly, and unnecessarily we believe that I am doing this, I am doing that, I am doing this, I am doing that. Okay. So death with poisoning is called untimely death. This assertion is in relation to the fetching of age karman varganas, ayu karma varganas, before their fruition, F-R-U-I. Okay, it is not C, just correct the spelling. Before their fruition means before their maturity. Okay, we all bound karmas every moment, and when it is bound, it has got a fixed time period to get out. Okay, so before that time you have to be ready. Okay, otherwise it will somehow change the modification. Okay, so the sequence is also fixed. Okay, so before your new age begins, you can still reduce the lifespan, you can increase the lifespan, you can supposing you are supposed to go to the 7th hell, then you can do such things that you can go to first hell. But anyways, you have to go to the hell because it is already bounded in your previous birth. Okay. So in this birth, you will get birth here in Sikharji or in some place, and people call it as untimely death. But actually, it is not an untimely death. That much was only the age, and nobody can extend that age limit. One has to die, one when he's born, his death also is fixed. And those moments he will remain in this universe, and then he will die and take birth in another state of existence. Okay. So this assertion is relation to the fetching of age karman varganas before their fruition or reduction of the duration of the age, or it is from the point of view of death before the completion of the age, and not from the point of view of nature of things. Okay. Because the person who has passed away has died just at the same time, has died just at the time that was reflected in the consciousness of the omniscient being. Okay. So the omniscient knows when I'm going to leave this body, and it happens that way only. Okay. So that was from Tattvar Sutra. Reduction of the duration of the age has been referred to in Tattvad Sutra. The verse in question is chapter 2, verse number 58. Okay. Now we see further. Ages of heavenly beings and hellish creatures with uppad birth. What is this uppad birth? So actually it is in Hindi. Hindi word is uppad. Uppad. Uppad means that the hellish being and the heavenly being, they have this kind of birth. And in this kind of birth, no mother and father are required. Okay. It takes birth on its own from the universe. Okay. So this heavenly being and the hellish being, they have this uppad birth. So they don't evolve with the fusion of mother and father. Okay. They evolve in the atmosphere on its own. Okay. And the moment they take birth, they become young of 16 years old. Okay. Somebody taking a birth in the heavenly being. So the first moment he becomes 16 years old. And similarly in other, it's all the same. So all these heavenly beings and the narki, hellish being, they get this kind of birth. So ages of heavenly being and hellish creatures with uppad birth, persons destined to attain moksha from same life phase, charam shariri, same life, he will get liberated, and residents of bhog bhumi. So before the third era, this place was this was a place of bhog bhumi. No, yeah, before the third era, here it was bhog bhumi. Now it is karma bhumi. Okay, now it is karma bhumi. Moksha from same life phase and residents of bhog bhumi with the age of innumerable years do not suffer from reduction in the same life phase. So once your life has started, it cannot be reduced by any effort. Nobody can reduce it. Okay. So that is the principle. So age is of two kinds. Bhujyaman Ayu, the one that you are enjoying now, and the other one is Vadyaman age. Now this Vadyaman age is our next birth. Okay. The one that we are bound and we will take birth in the next birth, that is called Vadyaman age. The definitions are given in the next paragraph. We will see that the age that living being is enjoying, means now what we are going through, is called the Bhujyaman Ayu. We are voguing the Ayu karmas, Every moment that karmas are getting detached. Okay. So the age that living being is enjoying in the present moment is called the Bhujyaman age. And the second one, Vadyaman age, what is Vadyaman age? The age that will be enjoyed in the next life phase, though determined, is called the Vadyaman age. The age to be enjoyed in the next life phase can be reduced in the case of all the creatures. But that which is being enjoyed cannot be reduced in the case of persons specified above. That is the purpose of the sutra. Okay. So your next birth, you can still reduce it. Okay. But once the birth happens, then you cannot make any changes. Whatever number of years he has to live, he will live and then he will expire. Okay. So similar things happen with us. Now the next paragraph. The age to be enjoyed in the next life phase can be reduced in the case of all the creatures. Okay. But that which is being enjoyed cannot be reduced in the case of person specified above. Okay. So you cannot okay. So, but that which is being enjoyed cannot be reduced in the case of persons specified above. Okay. That is the purpose of the sutra. King Shrenik attracted 33 sagar age karmas of hell. Okay. Which was reduced to 84,000 years. Okay. I just gave this example few minutes ago that Maharaja Shrenik. Okay. So he cheated his wife. Okay. He said that I am a Jainism, I have a temple at my home. And Chelna, his future wife, was very much interested in religion. So he thought if the temple is in the residence only, then how religious this family would be. So he married him. Okay. Chelna married Raja Shrenik. Okay. And then when he came to the kingdom, she realized that Raja is not Jain. He has just pretended. She was so good looking and she was so much influenced by his charm that he wanted to marry her. So he thought of a technique. And by that technique, uh, so Raja Shrenik and Chelna were married, and then she realized that he's not a Jain. So, but since he was an Indian lady, he thought that he will face this challenge. And then one day they were passing through a jungle, and the king was not a believer of Jainism. So they were passing through a jungle, and there a monk was sitting in his meditation pose. And Chelna and Shrenik both went there, and Chelna said, Namostu, Namostu. But the monk was engrossed in himself, so he never answered. So then Chelna thought that, okay, Muniraj will not listen to us now. He is into deep introspective meditation. So let's move. So while moving, Raja Shrenik said that you go ahead, I'm coming just. And what he did, there was a snake who has died. Body was lying there. So he picked up that body and put it across the neck of Raja Shrenik, who was a monk. Okay. And then he went in the path of Chelna. While they were moving ahead, he told Chelna that you were telling that Digambar monk will not do this, they will not do this. So let's go and see. I just kept a dead snake on the body of a monk, and now he must have removed it. So Chelna said, wait, Digambar monk will never remove anything from his body. Okay. It is the Sravak who do it on their own, but Digambar Muniraj never asks for anything. So Shrenik said, okay, let's go and see. So they both went there and see. And monk was still into meditation. And the snake was a dead one. So all the small insects like ants and all were full on the snake. And that snake was on the body. So the body was also having small insects. Okay, like ants and all. So, but monk was still engrossed in himself. So when he came out of his meditation, he gave blessings to both Chelna also and Shrenik also. And in that moment, Raja Shrenik's heart melt. That, oh, I inflicted so much pain on this person, and this person is treating us all as equal. And his life changed, and he became a Jain Dharmi. Okay. So this was the story of Raja Shrenik. Because he threw a snake on monk, he bound the age of hellish being of duration of 33 Sagaropam. Okay. But the moment his heart melt and there was a transformation in his thought and he believed in Jainism now, and later on he went to the Samosaran of Mahavir Bhagwan and attained right belief. Okay. The moment it attained right belief, his luck again changed. Okay. And that 33 sagar or duration of 33 sagaropam of the seventh hell got reduced to 84,000 in the first hell. Okay. So that was the transformation. That was the benefit. Okay. King Shanik attracted 33 sagar age karmas of hell, which was reduced to 84,000 years. But all these happened in the previous life phase. Okay. Once the birth starts, then you cannot do alter anything. The moment you take a birth in the womb of your mother, the moment your age is fixed, how much time you will remain in this body. Okay. It cannot be altered. So in case of King Shanik, 33 sagar was reduced to 84,000 because it happened before the birth started. Okay. Once the birth started, then you cannot change anything. So the birth was not started, so that changes happened. Okay. But all these happened in the previous life phase. After entering hell phase of life, its reduction is not possible. The reduction is not possible in any of the state of existence once you enter that life phase. Okay. While leaving aside beings referred to in the above sutra, others can reduce their span of life in the same life phase. Okay. So it was mentioned in the sutra that others can reduce their span of life in the same life phase. The whole talk is about the reduction of age, which does not make any difference in the definiteness of sequence bound modification. Okay. Still, the reduction happened, but that reduction is as per the principle of sequence bound modification. It is not that his age was 100 years and then it got reduced to 60 years. It is not so. So when this does not get reduced, all the happens on the right time. All the events in the universe takes place on the right time. There is never a delay and there is never an advance. Whatever time is fixed, it happens that way, and we have to accept this principle to become happy ourselves. Okay. Even in small creatures. Okay. Now, 1 minute. We were here. Page number 100. Just as when we return some articles purchased from a shopkeeper, he accepts those articles that are in packets. But after the packet has been opened, he takes back some articles which does not take others. Likewise, reduction is possible in the age the consummation of which has not taken place. Okay. So before birth, there could be reduction, increment of lifespan. But once the birth starts, then there is no reduction or increase. Yeah, there is some internet problem here. So just be on the class. I will join again. Okay. So we were here on page number 100. Okay. Just the example was given is that just as we purchase some articles from a shopkeeper, and if we have product return. Okay. Similarly, whenever a life has started, we cannot increase or reduce our lifespan. But if the life has not started, then we can still do it with our karmas, okay? With our good deeds, okay? But after the packet has been opened, it takes back some articles while does not take others. Likewise, reduction. Likewise, reduction. So I'm just closing my video because there is some internet problem, okay? Okay. Likewise, reduction is possible in the age the consummation of which has not taken place. Okay. But once the age as described in the sutra begins to be lived, reduction in the age span is not possible. So when there is no reduction possible, then how that there could be an untimely death? It is all on time. This does not make any difference in the orderliness of the time. Other causes are also not neglected, because the reduction in age also takes place in relation to other causes. So we have seen that there are 5 causes for any action to take place, and all the causes are present when the action takes place. Okay. In reality, there is a proposition of reduction in age and not of untimely death. Okay. In reality, from the real point of view, there is a proposition of reduction in age and not of untimely death. In this context, the following version of Jinendra Varni, writer of Jainendra Siddhant course, deserve our perusal. 1 minute. This spelling is wrong, no? Perusal?
It's actually correct. Perusal.
Acha, it's correct?
Yes, it's correct.
I
It
just-
means that it deserves our looking into, if I can say it simply, perusal, to peruse something.
1 minute. Perusal, okay. Okay, right. So it is for our examination. Okay. So deserve our perusal. 5th question relates to untimely death. Okay, so there was some discussion going on in that textbook, and this is just an extract from that textbook. 5th question relates to untimely death. Death with poisoning, etc. etc. Poisoning, accident, suicide, plane crash, whatever, all these are accidental deaths. So death with poisoning, etc. before time is called untimely death. Okay. So if a person of 20 years age dies, we always say that it is an untimely death. But if a 100-year-old dies, we never say that it is an untimely death. Okay. In karma philosophy, the increase or decrease in the tenure of old karmas are called upkarshan. Upkarshan is decrease, and utkarshan is increase, respectively. So increase is utkarshan, and upkarshan means subsidence, means decrease, respectively. So again here the sequence given is wrong. First is given increase or decrease. So increase is utkarshan and decrease is upkarshan. So there is respectively it is written, but it is not correct. You have to mention the word utkarshan and upkarshan respectively. And the change of the nature of karma, prakriti, is called sankraman. Sankraman means conversion. Okay. pap will convert to punya and punya can convert to pap. That can happen. To bring karmas in the state of fruition, again spelling is mistake, F-R-U-I. To bring karmas in the state of fruitions before time is called udina, prematurity. Okay. As we book an FD in the bank, say for 5 years, and after 1 year we are in need of urgent funds, so we go to the bank, and what we say to the employee, that break our FD. Okay. So that means you have got the maturity before time. Okay. Of course, they will cut the interest if you are withdrawing it prematurely, but nevertheless, you need the money and you will get the money, but they will reduce the interest rate. Okay. So then it is called prematurely. Similarly, in karmas also there is a stage called udirna. Udirna means rise of the karmas fruition before time. Okay. Supposing you have bound a karma which will come into fruition after 50 years. But because of your good deeds, it has come into fruition after 10 years. So that is called udirna. Okay. And to shed them before time is called nirjara. Okay. To offload them before time is called nirjara. Nirjara means without enjoying the fruits of that karma, you have destroyed that karma, and that is called nirjara. Okay. It is not correct to doubt all these assertions of the scriptures are opposed to sequence bound events, because answer to that is the above thinking process, which when it comes, events takes place automatically. Okay. And accordingly, self-poisoning or other drastic steps are taken only when one is very angry and not in its absence. Okay. Same applies to Apkarshan, Udina and Nirjara, etc. Because the meaning of untimely death is nothing but the bringing of age karma in the forefront. So you see, there is never an untimely death. Okay. But in common parlance, we call it as an untimely death if a young one dies. Even a person with 35 age dies, so we always say that it is an untimely death. Even if a 50-year-old dies, we say untimely death. When a person of 70, 80 years dies without any accident at all, then only we can say that it's a natural death. Okay. Otherwise, we have a habit of saying untimely death. Okay. But that's just a formality. That's just being said from the conventional point of view. From the real point of view, death happens on its own time. Okay. Everybody dies on its fixed time. Nobody can alter anything. Okay. In fact, there is no such karma whose tenure is commensurate with the karmas already settled. Even in small creatures having no mental development, such reductions, etc. do happen. Okay. The modification of substance happen. So why this is called untimely death? The explanation is given here in this paragraph. It is called untimely only because the attracted age span could not complete its tenure. Okay. So if somebody dies at 20, we do say like that 1 minute, huh? Okay. It is called untimely death only because the attracted age span could not complete its tenure. So this is again a conventional statement that it could not complete its tenure. But always the age span completes its tenure and then only it leaves the body. It is never an untimely death. So although we say in local language that it could not complete its tenure, there were so many things pending. His son was supposed to get married. His daughter was supposed to get married. So we say that it is an untimely death. Okay. But in reality, it has happened very timely, because once the birth starts, then the age is fixed. It cannot be altered. You cannot go beyond what you have been given by the age karma. Okay. In fact, there is no such karma whose tenure is commensurate with the karmas already settled. Okay. Even in small creatures having no mental development, such reductions do happen. So having no mental development means having no minds, having no minds. The modification of substance happen according to mental inclination from time to time. Okay. As a result thereof, new bondage of karmas and reduction in their tenure occur as a matter of course. The modification leading to reduction in tenure are the same as those of bondage. Okay. The modification of one time unit resulting in bondage brings about likewise utkarshan, upkarshan. So this utkarshan, upkarshan, udirna, sankraman, these are different stages of the karma. Maybe last week or second last week we discussed 10 stages of karma. Out of this, these are the 4 stages. And because of these utkarshan, upkarshans, people say that there was an untimely death. But in reality, the sequence bound modification state says that he was supposed to get death at that time only, and that has happened accordingly. Nobody can increase anybody's age and nobody can decrease anybody's age. Okay, this was the answer. Now this answer is explained by 3 examples, and that we will see in question number 12. Okay, first see the question. Why do you say that every death occurs in its own time unit, as seen in the consciousness of the omniscient being? Okay, because such an assertion implies that untimely death must also be a fact. Answer: it is not a fact. It is said like that. It is said in a common language that, oh, there was an untimely death. If somebody dies at 45, we still say it's untimely death, because he has not lived his life to the fullest. So it is just said like that, but it is not a fact. Such statements are in relation to upkarshan, udirna, etc. of the karmas. Okay. It can also be said in relation to the incomplete sentience. Okay. For example, incomplete sentience means केवल ज्ञान होने के पहले. It's all incomplete sentience. Okay. For example, there is 10-liter water in a pot. Very good example. You just see. There is a 10-liter water in a pot and there is a hole in it. Water leaks with the speed of 1 liter in an hour. So there are 10 liters. So how many hours it will take? 10 hours, right? 10 hours. So everybody would say 10 hours. If a mathematician is questioned about the time during which the pot will be completely empty, he would only say that it would take 10 hours. Okay, correct. However, if an astrologer is asked the same question, he will say that the pot will be empty in 5 hours, because he knows that then the pot would be broken by the push of a boy and all the water will flow away. So the mathematician says that it will be empty after 10 hours by judging at the speed through which the water was coming out. Okay. So he said that it will come out after 10 hours. But there was an astrologer and he knew that this pot will get damaged or break and all the water will flow out. So it's like that. Now, according to the mathematician, the event of the pot being empty will be called untimely, because the speed at which it was going, it would have taken 10 hours. But since it has happened in 5 hours, so it will be called untimely from the mathematician point of view. But in relation to the astrologer or the exact nature of events, it would be said, next page, it would be said that it was destined to be so. Everything has happened in self-time unit according to future inevitability and with suitable causes. Okay. So everything happens in its self-time unit. Okay. And along with those causes, destiny is also there, then nature is also there, instrumental cause is also there, and your efforts are also there. But still these things happen. Likewise, take the case of a criminal, second example, okay, who has been sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. When he asked the judge, the pleader or the jailer, when he would be released, all answered in one voice that he would be released after 10 years because he was imprisoned for 10 years. So it will take 10 years to come out. This can also be not to be turned untrue. But when an astrologer is asked the same question, he will say that the criminal will be released after 5 years. For he knows that after 5 years, the head of the state will be blessed with a son, and all the prisoners will be released as a mark of above happiness. Okay. The statement of the judge and others on the basis of the judgment delivered and that of the astrologer on the basis of reality. As such, that is real, which while those of the judge and other relatives and others are relative. Okay. The third example, in the same manner, take the case of a man who has the bondage of the age of 80 years and at the age of 40, it is to be shedded or terminated. Okay. It is to be shedded or terminated. At the age of 20, he asked the astrologer, whose limit of clairvoyance was not more than 10 years, when he would die. He assessed the tenure of his age with his clairvoyance and told him that he would die at the age of 80. Okay. When an omniscient being was asked the same question, okay, one of these, he said that he would die at age 40. Okay. So the astrologer says that he would die at 80. The astrologer says that he would die at 80, and omniscient being says that he would die at 40. One of these assertions appears to us to be false, but they are not so. They are relative statements. Okay. In relation to complete clairvoyant perception of the Gyan, we shall call it untimely death. Okay. In relation to incomplete clairvoyant perception, we shall call it untimely death. And in respect of omniscience, the death will be regarded to have occurred in its due time. Okay. So our principle of sequence-bound modification is according to the omniscience. And according to omniscience, he has died at the right age of 40. So there is no untimely death. Considering the health of the person in question, we hope that he would live up to 80 years. But when he dies of self-poisoning at the age of 40, we say that the age is untimely. What is the basis of our knowledge that he had to live for more than 40 years? Okay, we don't have any base. Without this knowledge, to call the death untimely is nothing else than mere assertion. It is very clear from the above discussion that the event of death has happened in its due time. Okay. There have been no change in it. The difference lies in the expression only. Okay. So this is all we have to say about this, the question of untimely death. According to sequence bound modification, there is never an untimely event happening anywhere in the universe. Everything is in automation mode and everything is happening at the perfect time frame. Okay. It cannot be changed by anybody. Okay. So relaxed and be happy and accept whatever is coming towards your thought process, towards your knowledge screen. Just be an observer. Okay. So now there are some questions left, 2-3 pages that will take up next Monday. Okay. So next Monday would be an additional class for us on sequence bound modification, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Vijal ji will continue his paper number 3. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask right now. I will give one more homework. Okay. And that is question number 1 minute. That is also very interesting question. 1 minute. Very, very important. Actually, you need to read all the questions, but still we have marked the important ones and we have discussed it here. But still, I would like one more question, and that is question number. Arey Bhagwan. Yes. Question number 18. So we will discuss the last 2-3 pages that is left over, and question number 18. Okay. Page number 115. This question also you read and answer also you read, and other questions time permitting, you can study on your own. And if you have any questions, you can ask me next Monday. So that will be an additional class and we will complete this sequence bound modification in that. And still, if you have questions, we can still continue every Monday until you have questions. And Tuesday, Wednesday, your regular classes will go on. Okay. So it will be like that. Okay. Enjoy the festivals. We are having happy Mahavir Bhagwan's Nirvan Divas. Today, Dhanteras has started, and tomorrow morning would be the last day of the divine sound. Okay. Tomorrow the divine sound will stop, and on the first morning, 1st November morning, Bhagwan Mahavir will attend liberation. Okay. And on the same day, in the evening, Gautam Swami, his chief disciple and preceptor, will attain omniscience knowledge. Okay. So that's why we celebrate Diwali in this way. Okay. We should not burst firecrackers because that's a clear violence of the small insects. And lot of awareness has come up. So by and large, mostly Jains don't burn firecrackers. But if anyone of your known relative are doing, then at least try to make them understand that this is a very gross violence and we as an Jain cannot do such things. Okay. So we meet up next Monday, and I will talk with Vijal ji also, and mostly she will start from next week only. Now she is out of station, but she is expected in a day or two. So we'll continue next week. Okay. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ